Hello zookeepers! Today, if you didn't realise, is World Otter Day. So I thought this may as well be a good time to make an enclosure for the first time for an otter. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. These are the giant otters. They're the only otters I actually have at the moment. I know there's some other otters in the game, but I don't have... I think it's in the wetland DLC, I think. I can't really remember. But anyways, I decided I do enjoy doing these raised platforms for viewing underwater rather than going down into the ground. I mean, sometimes I don't get them looking perfect, but I'm not that bothered by it. I actually enjoyed the way that this one turned out. As you can see right now, I'm laying the foundations to hide the raised dirt. It comes with its own problems a little bit later when trying to figure out how to do paths up to it, but we'll get there eventually. My idea for it is to have a house which then has an indoor water area, only a small bit, which then leads into the larger outdoor viewing area for the water swimming tap. And I don't, my brain cannot word today whatsoever. I've been really struggling, but you probably get the idea what I was meant to say there. Outdoor water area, small indoor water area, and then the indoor area itself. As you can see then in the background, I was thinking about putting a keep-out in there, and then I was like, yeah, then there's the issue with the paths. So I don't end up actually putting a keeper hut in this building. I keep it really simple and really nice. It looks like the zookeepers can go all the way around this internal bit, and then you have this smaller area where the otters are sort of housed. Like I said, the idea was to try and decorate it, but I think it's Conservation Pack, if I remember rightly, which has all the interior. Once I've got that pack, I can come back to my builds and then add all those little different things to make them look kind of pretty and decorated, and actually like zookeepers really go in there rather than have this sort of plain barren area. But to be honest, I'm not all that bothered with the way it looks. I'm quite happy with its initial look. At first I was sort of struggling, like, oh, where do I put a door? And then I can remember if the path goes through the wall, the keepers can walk through the wall. So I can place down that already built door, as it were. This is where I can't remember what Past River is doing here. Uh, I start making the outdoor area, like decorating it out, mixing it up with the building, trying to decide where I want it. I didn't know if I want it wide or large, and in the end, I start going for, like, I said wide or large, wide or small. I'd end up going for this small gateway, and I decided to try and make it look a little bit like the leaving the words aquatic lagoon. Look there, lagoon hatchery. That's the way when you open the lagoon hatchery to let them into the lagoon in Jurassic World Evolution. You have this door that slides upwards, and I decided to have that kind of little look to it, so it looks like that the otters can be closed with inside the building for, like, let's say they need to drain the outdoor pool and clean the glass, and not being harassed by these vicious creatures. And believe it or not, as cute as otters are, they can be absolutely savage. A creature you don't really want to annoy, that's for sure, or get on the wrong side of. They do come from the same family of things like the honey badger, essentially, except they like to be in groups. So yeah, take that as it were. A very savage creature. It can be really pretty much the top of its own food chain, as it were, of the creatures that it eats, and definitely something to fear if you're on that menu. But yeah, again, so I try and make it so that it looks slightly realistic. In my head, I haven't really thought the way I was going to do the guest path. So you can see, it was a bit of a nightmare for me. I was like figuring, how am I meant to do this? How's it look? How's it meant to look right? And I do this, and I was like, I really do like the look of that path. I do eventually come back and sort out the path and make it look a little bit more natural, as it were. As you can see now, I'm making another raised area. This is where the guests are going to be able to stand. For a while, I was trying to figure out how I'd want this to look, so it actually sort of fit in a little bit. So eventually I just keep adding more and more to it till I eventually end up liking the look of it. It did take me a little bit of time of figuring, pausing. Obviously in editing, I can sort of like cut all that out and come back to it and things like this and make it easier. But I really, honestly, I spent a while trying to, how do I make this fit in? How do I make it look decent? So I end up thinking, oh, I'm going to add a canopy to it, so it just doesn't seem like this massive open top area that guests are on, and it's like almost like a slight windbreak, as it were. Well, Actually, no, it's not like a windbreak. A sunbreak, let's call it that. So I made this like really interesting cover. Like I really do like the look of it. When I come back to this build, obviously I can see it complete. You guys haven't seen it complete yet. I actually do like the way it fits in, and with all the other stuff that eventually you'll see added to around this section. But yeah, make it look like it's got supports. Try and give it that sort of like realism, so it's not just poles wafting around, as it were. Because if that was a strong wind, might push that over. And this is how I eventually figure out how I'm going to do my path. I was like, I don't like it that way. I do it facing the opposite way, and then obviously I need to connect the paths to the rest of the paths. So it does work out in the end, and I actually enjoy the way this looks. So I'm still like 50-50 even at this point. If I liked it, like something I really struggle with is path work and trying to make it fit in. I was like, oh, make my own barrier. And then I realised, oh yeah, I can just use the barrier that they have themselves, which obviously makes things a lot more easier for me. I changed this all to gravel, and then I make my own sort of border using logs and different shapes and, oh, not different shapes, different heights. I do cut that out because that was really tedious and I was doing it for ages, and I wouldn't want to put you guys through that. Anyways, we're going on to add in like the enrichment into the enclosure, so you know, fun things to watch them mess around with. And then I also make a little bedding. Like, it's not suggested for them this, but it looks really cool. I like making that straw bedding that's like got sort of a raised wood around it and then like a heat light over it. I feel like that's a really cool look. I've never actually, I don't think I've ever seen, maybe? I can't remember if I've been to a zoo where I've seen these creatures. It's always like short-clawed otters and things like that I've ever seen. Also worked with as well. Like this, cleaning out and like an otter den, let's call it, is horrible. Like the smell, like it's something unreal. Like they had like the indoor otter area, and then behind it is where the guests could come in, peek through the windows to see if they were in the indoor area. And also you had to go with hands and knees in there to clean that out. And then you close it or put your new bed in and close it. And then to try and get rid of the smell, you had to bleach the floor, not inside the enclosure, but where the guests stand, just to try and like mask the smell a little bit. And honestly, that was, oh, it's something that'll never leave my nostrils. Whenever anyone mentions otters, the first thing that hits me is the remembrance of that smell. God, it's just something I'll never forget. I can see right now I'm sort of doing the outdoor pool area, trying to make it look interesting. I was going to originally make my own arch, and then I sort of like, no, I didn't like the way that was going to look. So I went back to putting plants. I did this underwater trees. Well, there's like just a bit of decoration, and looks kind of interesting and different for them to swim around. And again, I'm just adding like loads of plant matter, and then I was like, oh, I've got this, and then I was like, no, I didn't like that. So I just scattered a few of the fake rocks here and there, and I actually enjoy the way this looks, especially from the outside, and especially when I add in the plant matter. I know this again isn't for them; they don't enjoy this plant, but I like it. So it's sandbox, so I added it all in, and I sort of decorate the sides with a few different tropical plants just to make it interesting. Like this one I'm on right now is technically is a tropical island that I've made. It's not my zoo where I build my first time enclosures. It's just something I'm slowly messing around with and just like still learning the game, because I still play Jurassic World Evolution more than any other game that I play, to be honest. So every time I come to this, I'm just learning something new each time, and then also I see different videos that other people have made and learn a few different things. But yeah, anyways, that is the enclosure complete to the way I like it. I might come back, and like I said, and add a few different things, especially like the keeper area once I've got those DLCs. But yeah, I really enjoyed this build, and I absolutely love watching these giant otters just like mess around with the different enrichment. My favourite thing to do is actually just sit there and watch them swim around. It is really cool, like the swimming animation that they have, and they're just really interesting to watch. Like I sat here for a bit, as you can probably tell from this. This is cut down. Just watch them swim in and out for that opening, and I'm really happy that opening actually works the way I wanted it to. Now, like, it's so cool. Like this view right here that I have of them was also a fun view to watch. Kind of makes me wish there was fish in the game. Like I know there's a mod for it, but I'm not into modding the game yet because there's still so much for me to experience and enjoy. So I don't feel like I need mods yet. But it would be cool to see like some kind of fish or aquatic mammal in a sense that's fully aquatic added, which would be kind of cool to see. But yeah, I'm really happy with the way this looks, especially with like the jungle planters that I've got around the side of the outdoor pool area, and the viewing of it. It's just really interesting. It's good to see all the guests there. I haven't seen that many guests go in the upstairs bit. I don't know why that is. Maybe I need to add a few more things up there. Also, the view for them is going to be better from this like perspective, and they're easier to walk to. So I might add something up there to kind of like entice the guests. But again, that's a future project for another day. And anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have a great World Otter Day. But yeah, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.